Welcome back to Book Summary 5. I'm Sammy, and today we're diving into How to Know a Person by David Brooks. This book isn't about superficial charm or making small talk at a party. It's about learning to truly see other people, not just for who they appear to be, but for the complex, layered human beings they really are. It's about connection. Deep, life-changing connection. David Brooks, a longtime columnist and social commentator, has spent years observing how modern life tends to pull us apart. We live in an age of distraction, where people often talk past each other, reduce one another to political labels or social roles, and fail to really listen. But Brooks believes that knowing another person well is one of the most sacred and transformative acts we can undertake. And this book is his guide on how to do just that. He begins with a simple truth. Most people walk through the world feeling unseen. Not just ignored in a crowd, but unseen in their essence. Our daily interactions often skim the surface. We ask how someone is doing, but rarely wait for the real answer. We make judgments quickly, file people away mentally, and move on. But Brooks urges us to slow down, to practice what he calls illuminating attention. This means looking beyond appearances and tuning into what someone is really trying to say, even when they don't have the words. To illustrate this, he tells stories of extraordinary listeners. People who make others feel heard, not with clever responses, but with genuine presence. There's a kind of generosity in these encounters, he says. A way of holding space that allows someone else to reveal themselves at their own pace, without fear of being judged or fixed. Brooks also explores the art of asking better questions. Most of us default to safe, shallow ones. What do you do? Where are you from? These don't invite depth. But a question like, what gives you hope these days? Or what's something you've struggled to let go of? Opens a completely different door. The goal, Brooks says, isn't to interrogate someone, but to create an environment where they feel safe enough to go deeper. Maybe even discover something about themselves in the process. He talks about how many of us operate with what he calls lens-based knowing. We approach people through a preconceived filter, like assuming someone's worth is tied to their productivity, or judging them by social status or group identity. The antidote is what Brooks describes as encounter-based knowing, meeting each person fresh as an individual, with curiosity and humility. It's not about solving someone's problems or changing their mind. It's about being present enough to let them be. But this isn't just about individual relationships. Brooks extends the conversation to society. He argues that much of our division and polarization comes from a failure to know each other well. When we don't see someone's humanity, it's easy to reduce them to a slogan or a stereotype. But once you sit across from someone, ask them about their childhood, or what keeps them awake at night, you can't unsee their humanness. The work of knowing others, he says, is the work of healing society. There's also a beautiful thread through the book about self-knowledge. The more we strive to know others, the more we confront ourselves. What assumptions do we bring into conversations? What are we afraid to reveal about ourselves? What parts of our own story have we left unexamined? Brooks doesn't pretend that this is easy. It requires vulnerability, time, and effort, but he argues that it's deeply worth it. By the end, you come away with the sense that this book isn't just a guide to better relationships. It's a guide to a more meaningful life. Because when we take the time to truly know the people around us, we stop feeling so alone. And we begin to live in a world where empathy isn't just an ideal, it's a daily practice. That's it for today's episode of Book Summary 5. I hope this story makes you want to listen a little closer, to ask a little deeper, and to notice the quiet beauty in the people around you. Until next time, I'm Sammy. Thanks for listening. And happy reading.